through that extra game. See the draft here. At least Paz can't get his item wrongs on Scion, right? You know, if I'm going to be uber critical and the reason for the change, that Renekton did not fulfill the position, did not fulfill the job, this Scion should be able to be that front line.
We'll have to see if Paz is able to make it work, as we are jumping onto the Rift for the second game in this series. After a contentious, after a fiery, after a back and forth game one, DFM came out the victors, put themselves to an advantage in this series, matching up against a team that has rivaled them so many times over the course of this year.
All right, DFM, they got that early ward again in the same position. They will not be able to return to the south quadrant of the jungle. Sengoku, that slight adaptation. We haven't seen a lot of level 1 recently. The loss of Nautilus from the meta means that just checking the bush level 1 in the bottom lane just doesn't do a lot. Even though we've got Nautilus back here, we're not going for that. We're just going to take it nice and easy. Neither team wanting to throw everything at the wall from level 1. I want to see more from Jet this game, in particular the man on our screens. Did not live up to the Death's expectations. He is meant to be so good that DFM did not get the all-pro team all to themselves. I want to see him make the difference here as Ebby has decided to play the level 1.
Yeah, just annoying Paz and once more than anything really here on the Ornn. And I've got a question for you, Temporal, because in that last game, DFM did fall to some early disadvantages. It didn't go great for them for the first 15 minutes. What would they like to change here to try and make a victory a little bit more assured, as they need to hold that point actually is still level 2, making some ingression on to Jet in the mid lane. No shove back available for Yaharong, as the threaded volley not enough to take out the Azir.
Shoves him down just to about 300 hit points there. It's a nice early way for the Tillia to become self-sufficient. A level 2 gank out of the Vi, something a little unusual, a little different. The early pathing from Steel last game was disrupted. Once managed to get pretty much all 3 quadrants. That's a tower shot. I'm not too worried about the Nautilus just yet. Vital's ability to fight back on this wave position is limited. The boy's got his cookies. He'll be fine.
Once thinking about making a visit into the mid lane.
Ooh.
We didn't see much early gank pressure from once in that previous game. It was much more just sort of him and NT roaming around post level 6, spotting out where Steel was and making proactive plays around these side lanes.
Once again, once he's getting creative. He's off of those chickens. The red ping just came down, and the ping's onto mid. Once mission objective here. DFM know he's not up to something because he's not shown on his chickens, but do they know he's about to pile in through mid? Oh, come on. They fear the 2v2. They fear it. They've also probably put together that the Vi hasn't arrived at a side lane yet, where she should be checking flashes right now.
Yeah. Plus that ward that once was able to get down in Steel's top quadrant.
He's not returned. Not yet.
And so a little bit of information traded back and forth. Hopefully for Sengoku, they were able to spot out Steel popping that blast cone. You are able to see that on the minimap when it is being used, but does mean that he knows that there is no one in this bottom quadrant jungle except for a load of camps that he can take away. Would just be the Raptors for now.
All right. Both junglers, they're just trading away. They each leave each other's chickens. A single wing at the bottom of the bucket.
Brilliant hook there from Harp. Another lollipop enthusiast there in the bot lane. Steel spotted out on the ward.
All right, we know Harp's sweet enough already, but by God, does it look good. He just gets these hooks from nowhere, 90 degrees, completely out. And it'll always just drag the opposition from Sengoku forwards. DFM, they've stabilized their early game. Neither jungler has accelerated as the previous game, so we're going to see a bit of a slow, smoldering approach rather than those early explosive fights in that sort of arc. We're going to go a little slowly into the mid game.
Yeah, and I like this vision being placed by Steel and Yaharong towards the bottom half of Sengoku's jungle, because they know that there are a load of camps there, and eventually once is going to have to come over and clear those. And when he does, he's going to be spotted on that vision. That means that maybe there's a bit more room for Ebby to play. Maybe there's a bit more room for, well, anyone to play, because if that Sejuani's in her own jungle, she's not ganking.
She's not ganking. She's not impacting the map. She's not stunning you up and gaining the extra experience that we normally see when a Sejuani gets ahead. It's because your opponent's 0-3. Not because you've got a bit of extra CS. That's not going to be the case here. Vi a little bit faster through the jungle. She has an extra camp on her bottom side still. I want to see these junglers get out middle cart. Both of them going to be waiting pretty much till level 6 now. There's no reason to force through something in the bottom lane. There is potential for a lane gank as Jet, once again, victim of Yaharong. Talia just so good at trading. Both junglers have got that wing from the bottom of the bucket now. They will have a complete path in the next minute and a half across their jungles.
And something that I'm not sure if I like. I kind of want your opinion on this, Temporal, because this early game has been a lot more tepid, a lot more passive.
No 2v2 explodey bot lane.
No 2v2 explodey bot lane. And whilst that ended up benefiting Sengoku in the early game, in our previous matchup, it felt like the volatility of the game kind of baited them into a load of fights that they ended up losing. So I'm wondering, despite the fact that Sengoku haven't actually got the lead in this early game, whether it's actually going better for them.
Maybe they're less likely to get excited and drop the bag as soon as we said explodey bot lane, once again, you've picked up your Xbox controller middle cart. I can't believe you've done this. Paths, right clicks on the bottom lane, shows on vision. I'm very confused.
Yeah, this is not a great wave state for him to gank from, and is only level 4 on the Vi, so doesn't have that additional gap closer that the cease and the desist can be. Instead, pathing back into the river, Drake is available should the DFM jungler choose to take it away, and it looks like that's going to be the call.
Ooh. Cheeky early smite there. It might take 15 or so seconds for DFM to actually burn through this tougher Drake, so it just means he's going to get an extra discount off that chilling smite that we see both junglers have indexed towards. With that, DFM, once again, they've done it twice in a row now. First dragon, nice and early. The Vi pathing is still complete. You can now go all the way from bot to top. Grab level 6 nice and swiftly and get out on the map, where the Sejuani still lacking, still waiting.
Yeah, and with that advantage that I feel like DFM have in the 2v2 with this Vi and Talia combo, that Herald spawning in 40 seconds I think is also something that they can look towards pressuring, especially with Utapol and Harp pushing up in this bot lane. You see the Nautilus on the minimap going for a reset there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see our reigning champions get that Nautilus moving towards the top side and try and take away that objective as well.
I'd love it. Coast to coast. It's the way to do this right now. If you don't have to pay for the extra durability, once we'll be spotted by Steel. Both red sirens blaring.
Yeah, but only the Sejuani level 6. Oh my word!
Solo bolo.
Solo bolo Temporal.
That's a bit of a difference. The Sejuani, you mentioned it earlier, like, I'm used to Sejuani of Season 5. We pushed W, same W as this, and your opponents just disappear. You know, just their health bar in massive chunks. And it seems like time has favored Sejuani, because that just looked like the same thing, but I'm sure it's half the damage it used to be. The Vi, just not through level 6. The armor break is great when you've got other things to pair with it, but if you break someone's armor and proceed to tickle them, that's not a lot of damage.
Yeah, not as high as he would like to be on this. On the CC chain coming through from Sengoku. And it's their mid laner Jet picking up the kill a little bit later than last game. But once again, it's Sengoku that have got the run of things in the early stages.
They've got this rotation, all waves collected. That lane will stack up and Vital may return to it. I love Jet picking up the extra gold, picking up the kill. My friend, please build some damage this game. You've taken the money. Now go and spend it at the shop on lots of shiny things.
Lots of shiny things that deal damage. Because I think
yes,
the crown of the Shattered Queen is pretty shiny. But this was disturbing Temporal.
Yeah, look at him. Q in forwards, gets the aftershock, all of that damage. Absolutely brutal. You could say pork chop is all he needed. It's just that's the karate move.
Yeah, I'd rather you didn't though.
It's game 2. We're gonna get a bit loose, a bit free. We're gonna be here for a while, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hopefully, because Sengoku, with this strong start and with this another composition that scales pretty well once again, would hopefully be able to transition better than they did in game 1. They have been forced away from that Herald.
I've been hurt before, middle cut. I've been hurt before. Vital.
Vital.
Easy scared away. Should be the way that the Zeri interfaces of the Talia. Never forwards unless you go over the wall around the outside. And just plays forwards nicely. I'm worried about them in the Vi this game. It was this time last game around this Rift Herald. We saw things start to go Sengoku's way. This time, DFM, they've got all the objectives first. Sengoku onto Unhappy. with their CS leads, with their takedowns, with the solo bolo in the jungle. However, it's not truly established across the map yet, and the way these two leads converge in the next few minutes, slight hex tech, little boost to the ratios, little bit extra, versus that little bit of wallet power. Just a little bit of gold spent in the shop will be the difference.
I feel like there were some very interesting conversations between the teams and their respective coaches between Game 1 and Game 2.
I'll do it again.
Well, because not only have we got like almost the complete salty run back, Faz's son in this game.
I think the way he played Renekton, this pretty much is a salty run back.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I feel. But like, it's essentially the salty run back there. But we're seeing something very, very different in the early game.
Yes. I think both teams eager in a way to stop their opponents gaining advantage on the things they threw away, on Vital getting picked once or twice with a takedown, on DFM not reaching the Zeri, on allowing the Zeri to become that behemoth.
And we're seeing different itemization come through from Jed. It is going to be the Leandries. Damage Azir in the game temporal. Is it going to matter as Hub has been caught out in the jungle, but Vital flashing forward to secure the kill. And now it's DFM that are in a place that they don't want to be. A double kill for the Zeri once again in the early stages. Vital able to clean up on the Lightning Girl. A triple, a quadra kill for Vital.
It would all but be a penta, but Evie did not teleport down, didn't want to hand that one over. I think a key difference we've both missed so far are Udapon summoners. This is a situation we ended up in last game. Ran the top lane right at the end of the game, except there was a cleanse for the exhaust, and this time that Sivir is not holding a cleanse. The ghost, not enough. Watch Udapon come in here from the top. He's the threat. Steel and Harp are just setting up for him. Jet meets the Sivir before they complete the flank, before the pincer is met. Utapon, half his health gone. Vital accelerated. Tempo at top speed and just gets absolutely mashed.
And I've got to say, for an AD carry that we praise for his team fighting so much, Utapon pathing a little bit aggressively there, a little bit suspect, and that means that Sengoku find themselves another strong early fight. They find a lot of gold onto Vital, and with a slightly tankier composition as we scale into this game, you'd feel that the Zeri's a little bit more enabled to carry.
Even more so. I think maybe Udapon is still just holding on to the feelings of last game. If you made that move last game, in the early game at about this stage, it would have been great with knowing what you know from the late game. It's a winning play. But with that Summoner Spell Exhaust making the difference and the Sivir not escaping it at that short range, the drawback of this AD carry that clears at 900 miles an hour through the minion wave, we have to be careful. Udapon is going to have to play this differently. In the next few minutes, if they fold out like that again and again, it's going to be pretty simple for Sengoku.
And I absolutely love this from Once, making that just sort of push into the bot lane. We haven't really seen ganks towards the bottom side of the map as much from these teams, rather than just skirmishes emerging involving the AD carries. But it means that Sengoku can pick up this Mountain Drake for themselves, and with the bonus armor and magic resist that this is going to give a Sion, that this is going to give a Sejuani, that tank frontline that is so important for this composition, even more tanky.
Yeah, Nightmare on the desk. You know, we got out of last game and he just giggled and was like, that was frontline diff. If your frontline is just getting a free 10%, you can't argue at all.
Yeah. Overstepping in the mid lane, caught in rotation. The kill gold going in favor of Utapon for his and DFM's first kill of the game. That's something that they're going to need to chain it into a few more kills.
I take it back. Buy the crown again. You don't need to do any damage.
Oh, no. Seal has nowhere to go. No flash available. The Vault Breaker interrupted as well. That's another kill for White to the flash forward, but they're not able to interrupt the Weaver's Wall. That was mighty close temporal, but with Yaharong forced away, that opens up the mid lane tower.
We'll see the bot lane tower go as well. Udapon, Sivir left to his own devices. Just accruing gold experience for his team. Oh, I'm upset that Jet got caught. That was a little bit of a sleepwalker. Straight in there. Thought he'd be safe. Thought he could shuffle away. Just blocked by the body of the DFM team. Not able to go up, not able to go down. DFM, they're on the board now. Sengoku, it's not a runaway train. But the gas is still on. Oh, wow, the recall on the ward. Oh, that's even worse than I thought it was. I didn't see him stop, and Yaharong, so easy to convert this forwards. I mean, the ultimate is maybe just excessive. It does stop The shuffle away. Not able to reach once, not able to reach safety.
It's a mistake from Jet.
Again, at least he's going to do a bit more damage. It's not the Ludens I wanted, but it's the halfway house I'll take.
It's a bit closer. It's a bit closer. Yeah. Looking on the other side, though, I think something that I have noticed is that Steel is currently 0-3.
Yep.
The fights that Sengoku were winning in that last game were when the Vi wasn't able to get into the backline, when she wasn't able to pick off Vital, and when you are down in terms of your deaths, that means you're not farming as much, you're not getting these levels, you're not getting these items, and those are so important if you're going to survive that trip into the backline of Sengoku.
Just before the end of the game, Steel was 1-10. The Vi, with its role of that just ever-present diver, you can't donate gold. It's so easy to donate gold on Vi. It's happened 3 times this game. Use 300s. Easy change. There you go. With that, the Vi's job now gets harder because you've made everyone you're diving onto that much more difficult to approach in both senses. The teleport in, Ebby, this will be contested. This is the reverse of the last game.
Yeah, we're having more fights around the Rift Herald. Sengoku take this one away once being engaged onto by Steel. As there goes the final chapter, there goes the ultimate. The lockdown is immense. As Vital free to far, but finally the Vi finding a way into the backline, but gets pushed back and exploded. Sengoku righted the wrongs of the previous game, but no, DFM are winning the fight as it stands. Vital still untouched though. Jet still untouched as well. The damage healers of Sengoku can pop up in this game, but it's DFM who are taking over. Vital still somehow alive as Yaharong forced to flash back over the wall. 3 for 3 as the Ultra Shock laser goes wide. But no, Jet diving forward once again. It doesn't stop. Flashes away from the seismic shove and will take down his counterpart in the mid lane. Temporal, what the hell is going on?
Sengoku got the objective. They get the 4 kills. Flashes burned left, right, and center to dodge Yaharong, the stone sniper from DFM who facilitates this approach. Look at this. Paz knows his role. He's well up front and center once, secures the objective. A little bit vulnerable. That's fine. Steel is just there while he looks for Vital, takes a whole bunch of damage. Sengoku decide to start up the fight they did so many times in this composition. He's just attacked the front line with some CC. Ebby goes low, but Vital is defended. Paz still in the front, Jet at the back to sweep DFM's approach back in. Yaharong deals so much damage. Steel back out once again, but it's not enough to reach the Zeri.
Such a close fight. The margins were absolutely razor thin for both teams in this play, and whilst Sengoku do come out on top, whilst it is Jet and Vital staying alive, it was only a 3 for 4. That was not decisive by any means. You can see it there. The damage potential on both of these sides is absolutely incredible. Ocean Drake spawning in 30 seconds. We might have another fight, Temporal.
A moment for Jet dealing the most damage on Sengoku in a team fight for the first time this series. Our Emperor, our mid laner, all pro first, has managed to contribute on a health bar front in a team fight.
It's been excellent stuff. 2 items now on the Azir with that Void Staff completed. We'll be sending DFM to the Void with that if he has his way. Once again, fighting over mid lane priority. But those towers still falling means that neither team is really able to push the wave as far as they would like to, as cheating into the river on both sides, but Sengoku have got the first rotation.
Jet getting really opportunistic. This item build is designed to deal flat DPS to the whole team. It's going to hit Ebby as hard as it hits Yaharong. It's just going to go, look at that, on the wave. They've played both teams up in mid. Sivir clears slightly quicker, but Ebby has lost half his health, 2/3 of his health, just to Jet's positioning around this minion wave. Excellent patience from our all-pro first mid.
And I think that's smart from DFM. With their tank so low, they recognize that contesting this Drake would be a very, very bad idea, so they are going to back away. It's only second Drake for Sengoku, so this isn't something that will break the game in their favor, despite the fact that Drakes are a little bit stronger on this patch, obviously. But still, it's Sengoku that come up with the objective. They may be able to get a pick onto Utspon in the mid lane. Spell shields the ultimate from Paz, and Knockup goes just wide.
Worthy attempt, however. They do not manage to catch DFM here. They will use that Rift Herald. They didn't have to use it to set up for the Dragon. So that will just be Sengoku getting a bit further forwards and getting some vision into DFM. Just having a look at what's going on as they scout out the mid-game. Well and truly now middle cut, as the Baron is just spawning. Both teams will have it on their minds. If we look at the map, there's not a whole lot going on vision-wise. There's a bit of red vision in that left jungle quadrant. Other than that, both teams are going to have to do it again in a minute. This is a moment for expression, a moment to see what both of our teams have on their mind.
I was just wondering if Sengoku are actually going to play onto Yahorong, who's sticking around here in the top lane. This could be an issue for DFM's mid laner, but no, actually finding the pick onto one. Steel is here as well as the ultimate goes wide.
Don't know if that was a flash predict or a moment of weakness from once. In any case, everyone will fade away. Just a moment. This is where the tension starts to ratchet up, Middlecott. We haven't had that explosive early game, but the tools, well, truly in everyone's hands are now 2 items for each AD carry components across the board. Mythics, pretty much everywhere except you, Harp. But we know what you're suffering with. Support with no gold, and without Steel having such a huge scoreline, there is no guarantee this game. There is going to be no auto repeat. Of the Vi just being able to mash through. There is no repeat.
I think if we look at Vital's inventory, you can kind of see that reflected. The BF Sword and the Pickaxe, this is an Infinity Edge third on the Zeri, not going towards that Lord Doms, because honestly, you don't really need to deal with the tanks in this game. We saw how much poke Jet could get down onto Ebby in that last sort of play around the setup for that Drake, and with Steel so far behind and only now building towards tank items, you can just go full damage on the Zeri and blow up Yahorong and Utapon.
Damage profile across the team, well measured. You'll have percentage health damage, tank shredding out from once, out from Jet. Vital's job now to deal as much damage as possible to everything in front of him. Utapon, Yahorong, Steel, all rather squishy still at this stage. Steel coming forwards will find the ultimate onto Jet.
That's a very far forward engage onto the Emperor of Shroom, but it gets divided away. Vital caught out on the bottom side of the fight as Harp trying to take him out, trying to CC up the Zeri, but he cannot do it. Vital still alive, Jet still alive as well, as this could be disastrous for DFM. Heavy flashing into the wall, but isn't able to get the knock up. Finally, Jet falls down, but it is going to be a wash in favor of Sengoku. Ebby fighting away on this Ornn, still pretty tanky, but not tanky enough to keep himself alive. Vital actually gets exploded as the turnaround comes through, and now with Sivin, now with Utapon, the only AD carry in the engagement, he can start to do the damage, but still, it is a 2 for 2 on the map as it stands. No one getting advantage in the fight.
Overall, Sengoku held on there. 3 for 2, slowly over time. The Scion body just being slightly misleading on the scoreline. Watch once here at the start of this engage. This should be a DFM all victory. The Weaver's Wall starts up the teleport slightly late, and the Glacial Prison to knock away the mid laner. Just buys them so much time. Even if Vital is engaged upon, he lives long enough for his new front line. For Paz, the only thing that changed in draft here, this Scion doing great work on the front line. Jet's fancy feet, absolutely incredible.
And despite the fact he goes down in the end, the amount of time that he was able to buy from a situation that looked pretty rough for Sengoku at the start, but then turned around Ebby with the last bit of HP on his champion. Able to find the knockupers. Hold on, we jump back to live, and Sengoku are starting up the Baron. Barbreaker being charged up by Steel as he goes into the pit, but can't find the play. Baron for Jet. The kill for Jet, and Sengoku to be able to push off of this objective.
Looks like with the tempo, they just managed to get this slightly faster. DFM not thinking about the big purple worm on the map. They're punished for it. They will fall slightly further behind as we start off this power play. It will cover the soul point. It will cover Sengoku just further into this mid-game. Yahorong might go for something sneaky here. You can nearly always assign Azir to the sides. That long blink away. Shurima shuffle. Oh no, Jet.
Oh, is he TPing? He's TPing. Ornn Hall goes wide! And the Azir escapes. No, just the Baron.
The Baron
recall.
empowered recall.
Oh my word, Temporal.
Just enough. The 4 seconds. Half recall you get with the Baron. Gets Jet out of there. I really thought he'd fluff that. I really thought he had to go further down the lane and just walk it.
And you think that is Call the Forge God used. That is Weaver's Wall used. These are massive team fight tools for DFM, and with this Drake spawning once, just feels free to clean it up. This is going to be soul point going towards Sengoku, and that early to mid game transition, Temporal, it has gone so much better for the blue side team.
They force things out. They have managed to keep stable at the top. They might not have made it clean every single time, but it's win after win after win. No backwards and forwards for Sengoku. They'll move now forwards with this latest concession. DFM's cross map in the top side. Tools burnt, nothing gained. Now Sengoku, they play 2 lanes at once. The waves are heavily desynchronized, so this won't be a huge win anywhere, but it might be the fight. Sengoku, they're just trying to find anything under this tower. They're trying to look for a single edge.
Need to put some respect onto Utapon, though, on the Sivir. We saw how much damage he was able to do in the last game, and as 3 items completed for himself.
5-man Gromp. Excellent. It's the Baron power play I need. Oh, 4,000 gold. Not to be sniffed at, even if I do like to make fun of the Gromp.
Definitely not
there
as
it is.
heavy. Oh, that's a beautiful immune on the CC and able to dash away just in time. 30% HP on the Ornn, but interrupting that knock-up as well. This has been beautiful play from Ebby. This fight is in. Dives steal, but gets knocked back away from the carry, away from the Zeri, away from the opportunity to prevent Yaharong from going down once with that kill. And DFM, despite playing well around the potential engage, they're the ones that are falling away. As Vital doing his best hybrid impression as he dives forward. He shows how strong he can be. But DFM keeping alive for the time being. It's a lot of damage on Steel.
A little bit of a laser. And we saw there a slight misplay from DFM. A bit disappointed. Harp used his ultimate on the front line. Used it on Paz. With that, there was no conversion. So as soon as Steel was swept away from the backline, the cease and desist did not stick in court. The Azir protects the Zeri all the way through the front to back. Watch once. This is something we've seen in the entire series. Just engage onto the front line, engage onto Ebby. If your DPS is higher, that tank will not survive long enough. Look, there's the depth charge onto Paz. They think they can quite convert the kill. And while they do, they fail to reach Vital. They fail to reach the Zeri, and the front line is sacrificed.
And it feels like it's just still going in on his own this game. There's no one else with the Vi. With how far behind he was put in this game, he's not able to solo out the Zeri, especially when he's being pushed back away by Jet. We said that Jet wasn't really impactful in the previous game, but in these team fights, those Shurima shuffles have kept his AD carry alive, and he's also been doing a fair amount of damage himself. 3 items now without Rabadon's death cap. This is a scary, scary Emperor.
You wouldn't mind, but it's clearly on Steel's mind with the frozen heart. It's like, I need to get to Zeri. I need to get to Azir. The rest of his team need to also enable that, even if he's slightly further behind. The job gets harder, but abandoning it here breaks DFM's composition, as we saw it early on last game when they were unable to reach the Zeri. Unable to convert one piece of CC into another, into a takedown. That's what we need to see returned for DFM. Otherwise, they're going to slowly bleed objectives. And while it won't be as big as last game, just due to the nature of where we are right now, we've got timers, we've got late game cooldowns, everyone's got a bit more going for them. But it's still leaning Sengoku's way.
And it's leaning their way in a style that I think they'd appreciate. This very much feels like a very classic Sengoku game as it stands. They're ahead, maybe in a slightly unorthodox way, maybe a little bit more fiesta than is usually the case, but now what I want to see from them is very, very clean macro play. You've got that Ocean Soul spawning in a minute and a half. You've got the Baron spawning in a minute. There's still a lot of towers. There's a lot of distance between you and DFM's Nexus, but if you can set up vision effectively, if you can deny the ability of DFM to contest you to get towards these neutral objectives, then we're looking at potentially an even series here, Temporal.
Gosh, Sengoku and DFM, at the moment, even their best of ones in the regular season, never failed to deliver on exciting and entertaining League of Legends. I hope our audience is as enthralled as we are as Sengoku slowly advance towards the mid lane. They've drawn in Paz from the side now. Means they're thinking about where to approach this hold over the Ocean Dragon, denying the red side team movement into their own jungle. Looks to be the play.
Sengoku can't take too long though, because Ebby is going to be able to start to come through with these ornaments, those bonus stats, those extra pieces of gold efficiency. Essentially, we've already seen the Wormfall and Sacrifice here onto Utapon, and an extra 1,000 gold of stats on an AD carry is nothing to sniff at.
We'll go on to Yaharong as well. That all-career mid lane. I should say that's career is in Sorry. Words.
Oh, Emmy! Oh, that's a
engaged.
massive knock up there under the tower. 4 people locked up, but there's no follow-up from DFM as Paz with the Yumi on his back, wreaking havoc in the front line. Steel dead as well. And Sengoku, they are exploding in this fight. Exploding DFM, that is. As Utapon falls down, 3 members dead on the side of DFM, and I don't know if they can hold.
And Detonated FocusMe have a little more creative choice in this game. They can attack the Azir who is building damage. However, in that moment, Steel goes for one target. Everyone else on DFM goes for someone else. They are broken open by this Zeri. The Shurima shuffle comes through, and it's too much.
Yeah, they don't even need the Ocean Soul. You don't even need the second Baron. Sengoku Gaming, they fix a few of those woes in the early mid-game transition and will tie up this series 1-1.
The difference that Sion made. All Paz had to do was stand in the way, make Steel's job a bit harder,